What's up, Dog Pound, everything good? Welcome back to the channel, where we live and breathe all things Cleveland Browns. If you're a die-hard Browns fan like me, you're probably still riding the adrenaline high from the roller coaster that was the 2025 NFL Draft, right? Well, today we've got a hot topic to dive into, one that's got the entire Browns nation buzzing. We're breaking down the latest news about our rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, and his surprising appearance on the Canadian Football League negotiation list with the Toronto Argonauts. Yeah, you heard that right. Canada is calling. But what does this mean for Shedeur and our beloved Browns? Stick around, because we're going deep into this story, and I want to hear what you think in the comments. Let's get into it. All right, Browns fans, let's set the stage. Shedeur Sanders, son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, was one of the biggest names in college football. Playing for Colorado, this guy threw with surgical precision, racking up for 1,134 yards, 37 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions in his final college season. The hype was real. Analysts had him as a potential first-round pick, maybe even one overall. But then came the 2025 NFL Draft, and Shedeur had one of the most shocking slides in recent memory, falling all the way to the 5th round, where our Cleveland Browns picked him at 1 for 4. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dog Pound, how did we get this guy so late? What a steal. But here's where it gets spicy. Despite his electric college stats and undeniable talent, Shedeur's draft stock fell, reportedly due to some lackluster pre-draft interviews. Some teams felt he didn't bring his A game in those meetings, and it cost him big time. Fast forward to now, Shedeur's fighting for a roster spot in a crowded Browns quarterback room. And just when we thought the drama couldn't get any wilder, the Toronto Argonauts of the CFL dropped a bomb by adding Shedeur to their 45-player negotiation list. So, what's the deal? Is Shedeur packing his bags for Canada? Is his NFL dream with the Browns in jeopardy? Or is this just a backup plan for a guy who still has everything to prove? We're breaking it all down, and I want your take. Drop a comment below and let me know. Do you think Shedeur has what it takes to be our QB1, or is the CFL calling his name? First, let's talk about the CFL negotiation list, because I know some of y'all might be scratching your heads thinking, what does the CFL have to do with our Browns? The Canadian Football League works a bit differently than the NFL. Each CFL team, like the Toronto Argonauts, can keep a negotiation list of up to 45 players. That list gives them exclusive rights to negotiate with those players. If they ever decide to play in the CFL, it's kind of like reserving a player just in case they want to play ball up north. Now don't panic. Dog Pound, this doesn't mean Shedeur's packing for Toronto just yet. The Argonauts added him to the list on July 2nd, 2025 as a precaution. It's basically them saying, hey, if things don't work out in the NFL, we've got dibs on Shedeur. And let's be honest, Toronto isn't a bad destination. They had a 10-8 record last season, won the Grey Cup, and have a solid quarterback in Chad Kelly, nephew of NFL legend Jim Kelly. But Shedeur's focus is still in Cleveland, and we're here to understand what the CFL news really means for his future with the Browns. What do you think, Browns fans? Is the CFL a real backup option for Shedeur? Or should he be fully locked in on competing for that starting spot in Cleveland? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. To really understand why the CFL news is so important, we need to rewind and look at Shedeur's journey to the Browns. This guy was a star at Colorado, leading the Buffaloes with poise and swagger. He completed 74% of his passes last season, showing elite accuracy and a knack for big-time plays. His dad, Deion Coach Prime Sanders, hyped him up as the next big thing, and the media ate it up. Shedeur was living the high life, rocking million-dollar watches and drawing crowds wherever he went. But then came the draft. Despite all the hype, Shedeur slipped to the 5th round. Why? Well, reports suggest he didn't shine in those pre-draft interviews. Some teams felt he didn't take the process seriously, and that raised red flags about his leadership and maturity. There were also concerns about his off-field image. Speeding tickets and a flashy personality didn't sit well with NFL front offices looking for a franchise quarterback. Still, the Browns saw something special in Shedeur and took him at pick 144. But here's where things get tricky. They also drafted Dillon Gabriel out of Oregon in the 3rd round at pick 94. Now the Browns have a packed quarterback room with veterans Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson, who's recovering from an Achilles injury, plus these talented rookies. It's crowded, and Shedeur is fighting just to make the 53-man roster, let alone for a starting job. Dog Pound, I want to hear from you. Were you shocked when Shedeur dropped to the 5th round? Or did you see it coming? And do you think the Browns got a steal with that pick? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about this quarterback room, because it's one of the most intriguing in the NFL right now. The Browns have 5 QBs: Joe Flacco, the battle-tested vet with a Super Bowl ring; Kenny Pickett, a former first-round pick trying to prove himself; Deshaun Watson, still recovering and possibly out for the season; Dillon Gabriel, the 3rd-round rookie; and our guy, Shedeur. That's a lot of quarterbacks for one team, and NFL insider Peter Schrager even called it unprecedented to carry for QBs into the regular season. Here's the twist: Shedeur's spot on the roster isn't guaranteed. NFL insider James Palmer was blunt. 5th-round picks aren't guaranteed a roster spot, so no, I don't think he's a lock. Ouch. But Palmer also mentioned Shedeur's popularity. His jersey is one of the top sellers in the NFL, which could give him an edge. And don't forget how he performed at minicamp. According to NFL Rookie Watch, Shedeur was lights out, completing 53 passes, 77%, throwing for over 400 yards, 9 touchdowns, and only 1 interception off a tip pass. Those are the kinds of numbers that get you noticed. Dog Pound. But here's the reality: Shedeur is 4th on the depth chart right now, behind Flacco, Pickett, and Gabriel. Some insiders like TJ Houshman's ad suggest the real competition is between Pickett and Gabriel, with Shedeur on the outside looking in. There's even talk that the Browns might trade one of their QBs before the season starts. If Shedeur doesn't shine in training camp and the preseason, he might be the odd man out. So what do you think, Browns fans? Should Shedeur be in the mix for the starting job, or is it better for him to learn behind Flacco and Pickett? And if the Browns do make a trade, who do you think is on the move? Let's get the conversation going in the comments. Now, let's shift gears to the CFL news. The Toronto Argonauts adding Shedeur to their negotiation list is big, but it's not a done deal. That move doesn't mean Shedeur is in talks with the Argos or planning to jump to Canada. It's more like a safety net if the Browns cut him and no other NFL team picks him up. The CFL is ready to welcome him with open arms. The CFL has been a proving ground for players who later returned to the NFL. Just look at Cameron Wake. He dominated the CFL with the BC Lions before becoming a star pass rusher for the Miami Dolphins. Even former Browns QB Johnny Manziel had a CFL stint with the Hamilton Tiger Cats after flaming out in the NFL. So yeah, the CFL isn't just a backup plan, it's a legit shot for players to show what they've got and maybe earn a second chance. But let's be real, Shedeur's not thinking about Canada right now. He's got a 4-year, $4.6 million deal with the Browns, including a $446,553 signing bonus. Compare that to the CFL, where even the top-paid players earn around $600. $0 per year, that's less than the NFL's minimum salary. Financially, the NFL is the smart bet, and Shedeur has the talent to stay. Plus, if the Browns cut him, another NFL team would likely scoop him up for their practice squad or active roster. Before the CFL ever enters the picture, what do you think, Dog Pound? Would you be hyped to see Shedeur ball out in the CFL? Or do you believe he's got what it takes to make it in Cleveland? And let's have some fun. Picture Shedeur in a Toronto Argonauts jersey. Would he shine in the CFL? Or is he just a big for Canada? Drop your thoughts below. So where do we go from here? Shedeur has a tough road ahead in Cleveland. Training camp and the preseason are his chance to prove he belongs, whether that's as a backup or, who knows, a starter. He already flashed brilliance in minicamp, and former NFL star Chad Johnson even said Browns cornerback Denzel Ward has been raving about him, saying Shedeur looked different out there. That's the kind of hype that gets Browns fans excited. But there's also talk about the Browns eyeing the 2026 draft. Analyst Jacob Infante predicted Cleveland might land the No. 1 pick, and target Cade Klubnik from Clemson, suggesting neither Shedeur nor Gabriel is viewed as the long-term solution. That's a tough pill to swallow, especially when Shedeur has the arm talent and college stats to be a franchise QB. Here's the truth, Dog Pound. The Browns have been searching for a franchise quarterback for years. Baker Mayfield was supposed to be the guy. It didn't work out. Now, with Shedeur, Gabriel, Flacco, and Pickett, Cleveland has options, but no clear answer. Head coach Kevin Stefanski and GM Andrew Berry are under pressure to find the right guy, and Shedeur has a real shot to make his case. If he can tap into that college magic and show leadership during camp, he could climb the depth chart and silence the critics. Let's talk. Browns fans, do you believe Shedeur can be the franchise QB Cleveland's been waiting for, or is he better off as a backup for now? And if you were Stefanski, how would you handle this crowded QB room? Share your game plan in the comments. Beyond the X and O's, Shedeur's story is one of resilience. This is a guy who was once projected to go no. 1 overall, only to drop to the 5th round. He lost millions in draft bonuses. His $4.6 million is pocket change compared to the $37 million he could have made as a top pick, but he's not letting that define him. He's in Cleveland, learning from Deshaun Watson, and showing flashes of the grown QB he calls himself. For Browns fans, that's what we live for, the underdog story. Cleveland has been through it all, the QB carousel, the heartbreaks, the almosts. Shedeur represents hope, a shot at finally finding that guy who can take us to the promised land. Whether he ends up as QB1 or just fighting for a roster spot, his journey is one we're all invested in. And let's not forget, the CFL twist adds a wild wrinkle. It's a reminder that Shedeur has options, but also a wake-up call that he needs to shine in Cleveland, to lock down his NFL future. The Toronto Argonauts are watching, but so are we. Dog Pound. We're rooting for Shedeur to prove the doubters wrong and show the NFL he's a star. All right, Browns Nation, it's time to make some noise. What's your take on Shedeur Sanders and this CFL story? Do you think he's got what it takes to win the starting job in Cleveland? Or is the CFL a realistic plan B? And let's go bold. Predict Shedeur's stats for the 2025 season. If he makes the roster, drop all your hot takes and bold predictions in the comments below. And if you're pumped for this Browns season, smash that like button and subscribe for more Browns content every week. Let's keep the dog pound barking loud and proud. Also, shout out to Newsweek for breaking the story. Check out their full article for more details. And if you want to stay locked in on everything Shedeur and the Browns, hit that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Until next time, dog pound, keep the faith, and let's go Browns.